So I tidied up the engine a bit. I've sprayed the cam covers there. Could be better job, but happy with that. Needs a bit of polishing to get the primer completely off. I'm going to remove that after polishing. Cleaned up the manifold there as well a little bit. Yeah, I didn't film that. They're screwing in manifold bolts. It's not the most enjoyable thing you'll ever do when you're doing reparations for a car. Restorations. Yes, so the next job I'm going to tackle now is likely going to be the clutch and put the gearbox in. As I say, I've cleaned the gearbox down a little bit. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but hell, let's get this thing back on the road and see how it drives. So that concludes that. Right, so I'm going to start the clutch reassembly now. First of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean this flywheel with a bit of brake cleaner inside there as well. Give it a good run down. It's a little bit scored, I'm seeing. It's worse than I thought it was, this flywheel. It's a little bit scored. I probably should have bought a new one, but yeah, they're quite expensive, and I guess they ain't waiting now. So I'll clean the inside there as well, where the spigot bearing goes. I have a feeling I'm going to have to do this job again. No, not this particular job, I mean take the engine out again at some point in the future, because the oil leak, I'm not sure where the oil leaks are. It's been absolutely caked in oil, and I have a feeling a few of the gaskets are going to have to come out and be replaced, but we'll see. Anyway, so I'll put the spigot bearing in, tap it in with a socket, because it's a little bit of a tight fit. That just about fits correctly. It's a 27mm, so I'll tap that in with a hammer. It goes in pretty easily. So it's completely in place now. So here's the new clutch that's arrived. That's the flywheel side, as you see, so that's going to have to go that way, and also the pressure plate, which is there. These are actually remanufactured. They're not brand new, they're remanufactured, and I have to say the quality is absolutely brilliant. They do look brand new, but yes, they've been remanufactured, but they're absolutely fantastic quality. So anyway, I'll get the clutch centering tool and put it in place and see if we can bolt that back onto there. So side flywheel, that goes on there, so that's going to have to fit down like that. What? Now I still need to screw it on a bit tighter for the clutch centering tool. It's not going deep enough yet to fit into the spigot bearing, so I'll tighten all the bolts up a bit more. So the clutch plate will still move quite freely in there. Well, it's a bit of resistance, but it will move out. So I'll put the clutch plate in, the clutch tool in, sorry. A bit difficult to do this with one hand. If I can fit that into the big up bearing. Yep. Okay, so that's it in now. That looks pretty good. Clutch is centered. Tighten it up a little bit more, and then I'll proceed to tighten these bolts one by one around here. So, all the bolts are torqued down now. Time to remove the clutch centering tool. I'm going to have to do this with one hand. Yeah, so just loosen that off and pull that out. So, hopefully that's centered enough. And then comes the next moment of truth, which is try and couple that with the one thing I did do is I bought a new thrust bearing. I had to press this bit out and well, actually hammered it out and damaged the old bearing, but I pushed it in, the new one in with a vise, so gripped it up with a vise and pushed it in. So I'm going to proceed to install that now. These clips have to go around there, but I'll have to do that without the camera, unfortunately. Yep, so that's in. And then I'll try and mount it onto the engine. Well, so after huffing and puffing, I finally managed to get the gearbox attached to the engine. It's all bolted up, although I might take the bolts off and put new ones in. But I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that. The starter motor is down in the basement. It's been sprayed, so I'll fit that one when it's dry. But I think that just about concludes the work for today. I'll put it in the garage, I think, and pack up for today. So the next stage, I think, is actually to lift the engine and gearbox and put it back in the car. Okay, till then.